Hey, friends. Hello, friends. Hey, good morning. Morning, Vicky. How are you? Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. So, morning, John. How are you, everybody? Morning, Amy. Hi, Deb Votrin. Glad to see you. Hi, everybody. So I know that Wednesdays are generally going to be shorter days, but it's our it's our Lady of Fatima Day in Fall River. I can't not talk about this. Forget what I said about Wednesdays for today. But so I will because I want to recount that story for you. Good morning, Amy. Great to see you. Glad you're here. Chiropractor. I hope it was good. Good morning. Hello, 1111 friends. Yes, hello, hello. Good morning, Priscilla. Good to see you. Walked a mile to get there. Remember, ride a bicycle. Oh, that's funny. That sounds like something like I would do. Like, oh, thanks, Robin. I like red. It's actually my favorite color. I don't know if I'm glad. Thanks for that, because I always think it makes me look like a big tomato, but maybe it does. Maybe you like tomatoes. I don't know. But thank you. So, good morning, everybody. As I said, I thought this was going to be short today, but we're going to talk about fun stuff. So, good morning. It is this 13th day of October, this special day, the 13th day of October, 2021, on this Wednesday. Today is the day of what is known as the miracle of the sun that happened in Portugal in 1917, Milagre do Sol. It is the final and greatest vision of what was called the vision of Our Lady of Fatima, because it takes place near Fatima, and that this vision is in fact one of the most recorded and most investigated visions of Mary ever occurred in the world. And so I think it's fun to talk about. Also, it's fun to talk about because we here in Fall River are in the largest Portuguese community outside of Portugal. That we hold fast to this community and everybody that's here. Good morning, Donna. Glad you're here. So I want to talk about this a little bit. If you've never heard of this, it's worth hearing about. So in May of 1916, the three kids by the name of Jacinta, Lucy, and Francisco. They're out playing, and they're about dancing. They're having a nice time. And it's 1916. It's the middle of the First World War, and they are in their celebrations, dancing around, and all of a sudden they are struck by this vision. All three of them, and also all three of them seem the same vision of Mary that comes to them. Our Lady of Fatima, who is Mary, Mother of God, comes to them in this vision. Now, you say, okay, wait a minute. We're rationalists. Why are we talking about this? This is because, and so I want you to to just suspend that for a second. Just rein that in for one brief second, because we get into this story, because I could hear it in you already. I could see it in your little place, in your little digital selves over there, about what are we talking about this for? This is this Catholic superstition stuff or whatever. However, just stay with me. So 1916 May, these three kids have this vision of Mary, and over the next year or so, they say they begin to tell people that they've had this vision, and they begin to have further visions. So I can't remember how many times, 3 or 4 more times, they had visions similar, and that there are these communications that come from Mary to them about the repairing of the world, about the end of the war, and about actually prophecies about things that are going to happen all the way up into 2001. And which are kept actually very secret throughout for many years. That in fact it's not even sure if it's believed that all the secrets have been revealed or not. There's still some controversy about that. There's people that believe they all have been revealed, they all haven't been revealed, because and so these three kids start, they're working with their parish priest, but this becomes a thing because people witness them having these visions, and they have an incredible change of affect. For they were three kids who were kind of weren't particularly faithful, didn't do particularly things, to becoming extremely faithful and becoming extremely centered on their rosary. And in fact, they start creating trouble. So much so that the mayor of the town ends up arresting these children and throwing them in jail for a while. That because it's creating such a hubbub and such trouble. And there's they are, and again, they're just kids, no matter whatever experience they might be having, and so they are weeping and crying. They believe they're never going to see their parents again, and yet they're reminded, and they have this moment in which they become reminded of the fact that Mary has come to them to repair all things. Now, stay with me. I know. This is not what we usually talk about. This is not where we usually go. I know that there is questions around all of this, and this is not where our 21st century head goes in the world of rationalism. But stay with me in this story, okay? Stay with me. They are released from the priest goes down, intercedes for them. They're released from jail, and they make the prediction that they say on the 13th of October, 1917, will be the last miracle, the last vision that they'll receive. And in the reception of this last vision, there will be a miracle in the sky. Like they're very clear that the sun will move, things will happen. This is the ultimate Babe Ruth moment for people who are having prophecy, if you know what I mean. There's a sense where they're going to they call the ball. Like I say, Babe Ruth moment. If you remember Babe Ruth, he has the great where he points to the place where he's gonna hit the ball out of the park, and then he goes and does it. And these kids, these little 9-10 years old, like young kids, they have this moment where they have, through this prophecy, called the ball, and they say on the 13th of October, 1917. Now, reports vary, but the lowest report of the crowd that gathers at Cavallo, which is this mountain where they were playing, where Mary kept appearing, where Our Lady of Fatima kept appearing. The lowest estimate I could find was about 30,000 people. The largest estimate is about 100,000 people. Either way, it was a huge crowd. It was some, and so the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, about 75,000 people or so. If you want to take a guess of right in the middle of there, 70,000 folks gathered on this mountainside, looking at the sun. as these three children gather, and a vision comes to them. Again, are transported into the ecstatic state. They all three of them. Again, not it's not an individual thing. That all three of them have this together. They have this vision in which. And then again, the visions are, you can go look that up if you want to get into what the visions actually were. But I'm just talking about the experience of the 70,000 or so people, 50,000, 30,000, whatever you believe, people that actually assembled there on that day. The reports, the reports are investigated. Again, this is possibly one of the greatest investigations of common spiritual experience ever done. It is extremely well investigated, not only by the Catholic Church, which you could say, oh well, the church investigating the church, of course they discover something miraculous, but by journalists, investigators, skeptics. It is because it is so well documented, because there were people that lived through this. Again, people, these three kids grow up and have lives. Some of them die young, but if you get older, like they have this. And this sustains for years, these investigations that go on. They say that the sun, it is called the miracle of the sun because the sun actually danced in the sky, is the way it's commonly referred to. Some say it has all this technicolor experience where the lights change and all sorts of things happen. Some say, and many reports were of the sun moving in the sky, that instead of being kind of the fixed snowball in the sky, that it actually zigzagged its way down to almost to the horizon, and then zigzagged its way back up into its point in the sky. That it moved around. And some people say it did little concentric circles as it went and as it descended and came up, but that it moved and danced throughout the sky. They make this prediction months before this crowd gathers, months before the miracle in the sky, the miracle of the sun happens. And so, and again, I'm not making any of this up. I invite it again. It is the single most the folks who have most investigated this. Particularly, and they're actually in the Catholic Church, the people who've come at this with the deepest amount of skepticism in terms of what actually happened in 1917 on October 13th, is that there was a particular weather pattern going on there, and that the sky was actually cloudy in some ways, and there were these storm fronts, particularly, and it had rained all morning. And again, if you can imagine this, 50,000 people standing in the rain, not really even able to see the sun because they weren't quite sure where it was, and that midday at the appointed hour, all of the clouds broke, and yet there was this kind of unsettled weather pattern in the sky with this haze, so that people could actually see the sun and kind of look at it, versus on a completely clear day where you can't even really look at the sun. They looked at it, and then it began to move and do all the things that were reported by quite literally thousands of people. Some people said nothing happened, but the vast majority of people reported that it changed colors, it changed and it changed position in the sky, and that the sun came to dance for the repairing of the world. Now, I don't know what you think, and I don't know what you believe. And in fact, the greatest investigation that had gone on there was this investigation where they said that because of the unsettled weather pattern, there was this lens effect that happened through the clouds and through the mists that were there, so that even though the sun was in a fixed position, because the clouds were moving, there was this appearance of the sun moving because it was creating this convex lens effect. I don't know. That's just what the smart people say. I don't really know. But my question is, and this is one of the things, I mean, in the Catholic Church is interesting in this regard, is that for them, in their investigation, it actually made it more a miracle that it actually worked through the natural processes of the world versus what's a completely supernatural claim. How about that? That the experience of the church was that more often than not, what really makes a miracle is not that something happened that could not possibly have happened, but rather all the things of life arranged themselves and aligned themselves the 1,000,000,000,000 to 1 odds that the weather conditions of that day might actually arrange themselves in such a way that the prophecies of the children that said things were going to happen that would be propagated throughout the land of Portugal for people to come in tens of thousands of people to bear witness and stare at a particular spot at a particular time, that something completely rare and nearly unprecedented would happen in the weather construct, made actually more sense to those who investigated this apparition of Mary than people that didn't, or never had, or that then it wasn't a part of the journey. Now, why do I tell us this? Why do I tell our little 1111 community? Why do I tell us all of this story? Why do I offer this to you on this high day? Because, friends, there is a divine operation in your life that is unfolding miracles right now. You can believe that. We in the Protestant side of the world like to call it the movement of the Holy Spirit. However you want to talk about it. Whether you talk about it through Mariology, whether you talk about it. But these phenomena, these realities of the organization of the world bring us more opportunities to see grace, more opportunities to see visions in our life, more opportunities to notice the divine operation in our world than simply being poisoned by rationality. I know that's a phrase that I throw around every so often, but I truly believe in it. We are poisoned by the rational. Because we can investigate the miracles that happened at Fatima, we can say, oh, that was a part of what happens in the natural order of the world, and so we don't have to believe there was anything supernatural or bizarre or divinely inspired or moving of the Holy Spirit going on there. And yet, how did we get to 50,000 people standing there staring at the sun in the sky and bearing witness to it? How did we get to these 3 children having knowledge and wisdom that beyond their years and beyond their ability? How do we account for the entire lived experience that people talk about when they talk about the vision at Fatima? And this is my point today. Don't let the rationality of your life, don't let the things that make sense dictate the experience of your living. Because there's only, the rational is great, and the understanding the order and the magnitude and all the things that go into the weather operations of the world and all that sort of stuff are great. They are beautiful. They are important. They're vital, but they are subservient to our experience. If we bore witness to the birthing of every child, in fact, Brennan and Kaylee, who have been worshiping with us, Kaylee's going in to give birth today. So say a prayer for Kaylee. But if we imagine every child that was born was just a spooging of protoplasm. Yeah, I said that. That if we just saw it as a little bag of protoplasm separate from our bag of protoplasm, exactly what does that mean? But when you imagine the experience of a mother giving birth to a child, and the moment that that child is held by that mother, and the way that that transforms, and we can talk about the endorphins and all the things, and the serotonin levels of the mom, and the bonding of the child. Blah, 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 blah. We can talk about all the biochemistry of it. The biochemistry of it are just the thing that is driving and giving birth to the experience that we have in our lives and living. Let the experience of the divine, let the experience of the Holy Spirit, let the experience of Our Lady of Fatima, that we stare in that of our staring into the sky looking for God, let the experience of that penetrate us, let it open us, let it shape us, let it move us, let it not just be caught up in this little lock between our ears. The Western world has done this to us, and again, it's had great gifts. There's great beauty. There's all sorts of cool things that we've built as a result of it. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be the thing that makes it life worth living. It's not going to be the thing that when we go and sit on a deck and listen to music and smell the cool air and maybe have a libation of our choice and meet new people or do it with somebody that's beloved to us, and the experience of that time and that moment, which in no way makes sense. But if we can look at through this lens of a God that loves us and wants to give good gifts to his children, and wants to open the heavens to us, wants to open the broad arms of a loving mom to hold us, wants to open all of this for what? And what was the point of the visions of Mary at Fatima? For the repairing of the world. For the repairing of the world, friends. That our world might be repaired. We've got plenty of brokenness, plenty of broken relationships, plenty of broken ideas, plenty of broken ways to think about things, plenty of things to get fired up about and angry about, plenty of things that are simply tearing at the threads of the common tapestry of our lives together. I invite you to take a page from our Catholic brothers and sisters today and hold up Our Lady of Fatima and the miracle that happened there. I don't care if you can describe everything that happened in that day through meteorological and human ideas, the experience of what broke loose in those people that bore witness to the miracle of the sun, and the people and those 3 children that changed their lives. The experience of that is more valid than any rational argument I would submit to you. And it is in that experience of living, in that experience of knowing God, in that experience of keeping our eyes open for the movement of that Spirit, of looking towards the sun, that the very repairing of the world happens, that the very repairing of our lives happens, that the very repairing of the fabric of our communities and our being and our churches and our families happens. So hear the prayer of Fatima. Hear the invitation of God's gift to us. Hear the love of God in the miracles of the dancing sun. Because, friends, the sun dances for you today. It might dance through the trees. It might dance on the curb. It might open your heart and your eyes. But let the miracles of your days give way to the experience of knowing how much you are loved, so that you might too be a part of the repairing of the world and the love that God has for all of it. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. I hope this is a day of grace and peace to you, and that if you get to go out and be a part of this grand adventure of life, and that all that we have to thank this Portuguese tradition and those three children and the wider world for hearing and seeing the visions of Fatima and knowing that we are loved beyond measure, and to a God that, and through the Holy Spirit that is working to come into our experience if we but let him. All right, friends, that is my hope for you today. I hope you have a great day. We will pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11. Peace and grace.